Well, hello everyone. Welcome to the very first episode of the show that we have not determined the line. It's Scouse, an Irishman, and the Turk. I couldn't decide if it was should be the Irishman first or the Scouse first. We know I'm the oddball, so the Turk should definitely be last. We figured, but let's go with the Scouse, an Englishman, and I mean an Irishman, an Englishman.
Right, I'm done. I'm gone already.
Fucking hell. 30 seconds in, he's fucking off. Jesus.
An Irishman and a Turk. Okay, obviously, I think now, if nobody knew, and this is the first time you're watching anything from American Scouser, I think you just figured out who the Irish guy is. Mecca.
The one who looks like a potato. It's a dead giveaway.
Yeah.
And I'm obviously the Turkish guy, and Kazi over here is our Scouser on duty. And I think, well, Harry is on board as well. He does, but you're probably the most regular appearing Scouser on American Scouser over here. Gentlemen, how are we doing?
Doing good.
Yeah, I'm doing good for 11 o'clock real time, not your pretend time zone time, real time.
Bro, I've been in America for 8 years. I can't get this time zone thing down.
I honestly, man, this is what I don't understand. This is like people who do not understand military time. It is not as difficult as you make it sound to be. Like I never understand people. I never understand military time. If you can subtract 12, you understand military time. And you guys with time zones is I don't know how it's a massive confusion. Like you guys just
aren't there places in the Midwest where they don't obey the time
yes,
zone thing? So then that's where it gets confusing.
Yes.
That'd be like in Ireland having we go by Greenwich Mean Time, except for Cork. They got like Filipino time there.
It's so typical Cork, by the way, isn't it? It's so Cork. Yeah. It's such a Cork thing to do, isn't it?
We don't change. Honestly, Turkey has stopped changing time too. They're like, you know what? Screw this. I don't even know why we do it. To be honest with you, apart from the confusion and the lack of sleep. It's almost like when I used to do this. I don't know if you guys did this trick when you were in school, like when you went to bed really late, and then you only had like 3 hours or 4 hours of sleep. Like you're gonna get up at 6 a.m. I would set the alarm at 4, and then you wake up at 4. You're like, oh no way! You're like, oh, it's only 4, and then you just go to sleep for another 2 hours. It feels like you slept twice as much. Of course, after a while, it doesn't work, but you got to do it occasionally, and this shit works. I feel like the spring forwards fallback thing is the same way. You gain 1 hour and then you pay for it afterwards, like we did last weekend.
I'm really into this idea of this podcast now. After 2.5 minutes, it's just turned into us putting the world to rights on what we want to change. So we're just going to fuck all time zones off.
One issue at a time.
Yeah, we're literally going to put all countries in a hat. I'm going to pull all whoever's name comes out first. That's the time zone that every other country's got to follow. I don't care what time it is. If it's 4 p.m.
But then we could also we'd have to change that phrase. It's 5 p.m. somewhere when you want to have it.
That's right.
See that's where it's going to make
it.
Yeah,
I mean, to get the background story on this, we scheduled this to be recorded. It is actually today, March 12th, the evening of, and Kazi was an hour early looking for looking for the link to get going, and we're like, dude, it's only like 9. We said 10 Central, but
I can't get over it. You know, my head's fucking fell off with these time zones still. 8 years I've been in America. And people go, oh, 8 p.m. Central.
And like, you moved, but you moved within... No, you moved time zones, though, didn't you? You used to be on the Eastern time.
No. I've been on... I was in California. I've moved to Nevada.
Right.
I'm still a West Coast time. Someone has to... When someone gives me a time, you've got to give me my time so I understand what time to go to. Don't make me work it out.
That's how Mecca is too. He wants to know his own time.
Now, let's be honest here. Because he was in California, but he was operating on Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah, it's all the same to me. Like I've just worked out now that we're only 7 hours behind for 2 weeks, the UK. So the footy's a bit later than the day for me. No, for 2 weeks of the year, Tim, the footy's a bit later, which is nice. But then in fucking 2 weeks' time, it changes back, and so I'm getting used to these nice little. Ooh, it's a little extra hour in bed before I have to wake up and watch the Reds.
You know, that's funny. I was talking to Sparky earlier today, and you know, he regularly watches and comments on the morning coffee show. And he was in the UK, so it was like an afternoon tea for him, like 3 o'clock. He was just grabbing a cup of tea and sitting down to watch, comment, and stuff like that. So I think it was now that he's back here in the US. I don't want to say home, but back in his US home. The other day, as we were signing out, and mind you, we were late signing out. It was a long episode. Sparky shows up and he's like, "Hello, boys," and I was like, we're leaving. So I gotta get up early at 7 a.m. to watch it and stuff like that. But we don't know how to go about this, but obviously you already got 5 minutes in, you got a gist of what the show is going to be. We figured the first episode will be more about introductions. I think most people who follow American Scouser probably know us, but maybe not know the full background story. Mecca, we'll start with you, and then we'll probably just go away for a couple of hours. We'll come back when you're done with your background story, because I'm assuming yours is going to be something to behold.
I was born a poor black child.
With no potatoes.
No potatoes.
I'm my background is I'm obviously Irish, and I was born there and didn't move over here until I was 28. 1 whole week before the 2005 Champions League final. I planned it out meticulously. I moved over the day before my birthday, so I got all the birthday presents, and then was able to acclimatize for a week, and then had to make sure we had the right television package so that I could watch the Champions League final. Otherwise, I wasn't coming over. Because my wife is American. She didn't want to move to Ireland because it rains too much, apparently.
Can we blame her?
Just as well, it wasn't for Manchester, because it just rains all the time. Yeah. Even when it's not raining, they make it rain because they're miserable and they need to be more miserable. So I grew up in Ireland, and I currently work in television and radio, spreading the good word to the old folks, mostly, to be honest. I've got a massive fan club of 70-year-olds.
We'll get to the job later, right? Because that's a whole nother podcast, right? Your job.
Yeah. I don't know. You might get canceled right off the bat if we make half the jokes we probably did that day, but
spreading the love to the old folks could mean a lot of things. But what I'm going to ask a question is, where did you meet your wife?
I met my wife at my high school friend's wedding. She was the roommate of my wife. My wife was his wife's roommate in college. So we were at the same table, was essentially it. The best part of the story is it was a week and a half, 2 weeks after September the 11th. And I'd never flown before, and I wasn't going to fly then. But I had to do it because it was my schoolmate, my best mate from school. And so that was 2001. And then we just kept in touch and did the whole long distance thing for 4 years.
Really? 4 years? Kudos.
4 years. And that's... because it takes, once you get the green card, like if you do it from over there, it's like a 2-year like wait to make sure you're not you're legit messing with the system. So people don't understand that. That's we're not going to get into politics, but people over here don't understand that when you do the whole thing legitimately, you jump through more hoops than a dog at Crufts or the American dog show on Thanksgiving to get in here. So we did that, and then I moved over, and they've been trying to kick me out ever since.
Did you do the interview and everything too?
Did I do what?
The interview and stuff.
The interview was funny. Here's the thing. Now this will feel the politics talk not from us obviously, but I did my interview in the Irish Embassy in Dublin, and I'm a stickler for making a good impression and things like that. So I came in a good suit, a nice suit that I had that I only wore twice in my entire life before I got too fat for it. A nice tie. I brought a binder with all the forms and the documentation and everything, and I looked like I was there to solve the Middle East crisis. I looked like a diplomat walking in there. But everybody else in there, apart from one other guy, was dressed in like civvies. They were like they were probably coming from another country to get into America, and like Ireland was the landing spot. And then there were some because you know what I mean, but there were some chavs, let's say, Irish chavs trying to do, and they were in their shell tracksuits and everything. And I walked in, and obviously I went up for the interview, and the guy had clearly had enough that day of dealing with morons. And he looked up at me and he went, "Oh." You could see the relief, like this is going to be an easy one. You have your documentation, Form A, Form B, Form C, triplicate. And he's like, "Oh, fantastic."
Did they ask quite like, did you go with the wifey or they asked?
No, because she was over here. She was over here.
The one I did was over here. And you know what the funny thing with that is the complete opposite. Like I'm all dressed up because it's like serious. But you know, I'm not like dressed up like probably you were. But then we're in this room. It's almost like a doctor's waiting room. There's like a bunch of other people, and it's like just me and Ainge just like sitting there, like we're like young as hell, and we're just sitting there, like we just showed up, you know. And like there are people with like lawyers, they have like 4 albums like this thick, and like they're like going through them and stuff like that. And I'm like, dude, we are like way underprepared for this because this is gonna be rough. So, and then we go into the room. And yeah, he did look us up and down like, you guys just came like this kind of thing. Like, did you guys even prepare for this kind of a deal? And then he starts asking us questions. And honestly, the first thing he asks is like, what do you guys own together? And, you know, we're both fresh out of college, 0 credits.
Debt. We own debt together.
Yes, exactly. And that's what it was. I'm like, we own all our debt together. We like, you know, to get anything, to get like a bag of chips, both of us have to sign on the dotted line because nobody will give us credit otherwise. So, you know, like the apartment, the cars, everything was under both our names, insurance and stuff like that. And the guy's like, oh, okay. Well, if you guys bring me copies of those, then we're set. And of course, my wife, who doesn't understand how INS and all these government organizations work, she thinks she's at the Best Buy service desk. She's like, well, if you told us to bring it, we would have brought it, kind of a thing. And I was like, let's take it to INS.
The guys with the guns outside.
I don't want to ruffle any feathers here. Well, thank you very much, sir. And we
well, no, I just want to add to that because I had to do that when I come over. We had to do those meetings several times for the first 2 years. So the first one we had when it was the two of us together to get off the temporary green cards to get onto the permanent, well, the 10 years they call it green card. We went up there and they were like, they were doing the green card movie, you know, like what's her favorite color and what's his favorite TV show. She was like, it's soccer. I don't know what this TV show is, but there's guys kicking a ball and he'll watch that all day. He'll watch soccer from teams that nobody has ever heard of. They probably even made up the names that week, but he's watching it. So they were like, when was your first day? And my wife was like, oh, we went to see Spider-Man, the movie, and he fell asleep. I was like, no, it wasn't. She was like, yeah, it was. I was like, no, it wasn't. The first date was when we went to that park for the picnic. No, I don't consider that. That was a date. I paid money for things. And the guy was like, oh, yeah, okay, we get it.
Well, you guys are married, all right.
Yeah, just get out. You're fine.
Bro, I went kind of through the same stuff. Like, so I got my green card pretty easy. To be fair, I got married and then applied for my green card. So I got my green card, fine, no problem. And then I was going for my citizenship because I was like, well, I just want to get this over with. I don't want to keep renewing the green card every 10 years and, you know, just become a citizen and fucking get it over with, basically. So anyway, it's about 4 years. So this is during COVID and Trump, basically. So everything got delayed and everything got stopped and, you know. So anyway, I moved from California to Nevada. But I was still going to Sacramento for meetings, for example. So finally get the letter. You are going to become a US citizen. This is the day. Just come in, dot some I's, cross some T's. You'll be fine. Drive down to Sac, about 4.5 hours. Drive down to Sac, go to the meeting. So where's your current address? And it's give them a Nevada address. And it's, oh, so we can't process this case anymore because Nevada's got to do it. I'm like, but I waited 4 years for this day. For you to
no way
sign this off, and I've only just moved 2 months ago. Yeah, I'm sorry, there's nothing we can do. And I'm like, so what do we do here? So we got to send it to the state of Nevada. So what I can do, I can say I want to approve it, but it's up to the state of Nevada. So about 2 months later, I got the letter through from Nevada saying, yeah, we're going to confirm you as a citizen. You've got to come to the courthouse. So I had to go to the courthouse and swear and do all this kind of stuff and up and down like a fucking choir boy. And I was like, this is getting too much, man. Like, this is like, I've never been in a courthouse, by the way. I don't know if you've ever been in one of these courthouses. It's super weird. There's about 200 people getting sworn in. I was the only one from Europe. There was about 197 from Mexico, which is no problem, of course. Then a couple of South Americans. And there's me. So what the guy made me do was get the mic off him. I had to ask the judge, should they be passing the mic around? He wants you to know your name and what country you're from. So I kind of bottled it because of my accent, and I always bottle public speaking. Don't like it. And I went, hello, yes, my name's David, and I'm from the United Kingdom. I didn't even say England. And I was like, I've never said the word United Kingdom in my life. Like, it's just...
nerd!
Genuinely, I sat down going, I just done that. Like, what the fuck is going on? Honestly, that super weird. But yeah, man, I met my wife in Thailand. So long story short, we might get to the long story in another show. But I won a lot of money in a betting shop, which Michael will know what they are. So basically, for our American audiences here, they have sports books as stores in the UK where you can go in and bet on football and stuff. And there's a few virtual machines in there. So over like a 2-day period, I won about $6,000 just betting on sport, Liverpool and football, and like I was doing silly bets, like $200 on David Silva to score first for 12-1, and it came in. And by the way, it was the worst shot of all time. It was a big deflected shot. Like it was definitely an own goal, but they give it to David Silva. Like it was one of those weird ones. It was just like, honestly, it was just insane. And then I went in. I got this money and going to Thailand. So this is on Christmas Eve. I go out with the lads. It's a big thing in the UK where Christmas Eve, Tim and our American fans here, you go out to the local bars where you're from. You do not go anywhere else. Just go to your local pubs and see all old friends. All come home for Christmas. You see all the old friends from school. So I've got this money in my pocket. Of course, I'm feeling fucking amazing. So when I go out, Christmas Eve, I come in at 3 a.m. in the morning, Christmas morning, hammered. And when I say drunk fella night, I'm fucking not even on this planet. And I've walked in with about 6 pizzas. Because this how my drunken mind worked. Went, well, I'll walk in to the family thinking they're all going to be awake and say, I'm Santa Claus and I've got a gift. And I was giving pizzas out. Bearing in mind, my whole family are all asleep, and I walked in to wake them up at 3 a.m., my drunk ass, going, I'm Santa Claus. Look, I've brought you some pizza. And so anyway, there's been anger all over the family because I've ruined Christmas, as you do. So I thought, fuck this. Fuck all you. I'm going to Thailand. And you're like, what are you talking about? I've never wanted to.
Wait, why? I understand getting angry. Why not? Like,
most people just go to their mate's house to sleep it off. Because he goes to Thailand.
But I just knew in my head, this is my drunken mind, I knew it was cheap. So I was like, I can just live there on this $6,000 and see how long it lasts.
I mean, no offense, but Thailand is, when I'd say anybody Thailand, they don't say, oh, I know it's cheap over there. It's known for a lot of other things then.
Of course. Listen, fella, by the way.
Yeah, but they're cheap.
I was cheap though. This is my argument. My point was, I just need a little break. I was 23, 24, I was stuck in a bit of a dead-end job, and I was like, I just need a break. And I remember being that hammered, and I just booked the flight that night and went, I'm going to Thailand. I'll just go for a while and just get away. You know what I mean? So anyway, a week later, I leave. One-way flight to Thailand. And I booked a 10-day tour with like other travelers.
So did you book the midnight plane going anywhere?
Fella, listen to
Give me the first flight out of town.
Bro, I've got another story. I don't even make it to Thailand. Like, this is insane shit, you know. So anyway, I land in Thailand eventually. Right, I booked a 10-day tour, and the first person I met on the tour was my future wife. So,
are you serious?
I swear to God, bro. Yeah, it's the first person, and she hated me. She couldn't stand me.
You're like, pizza?
Know what it was?
Yeah, that's it. Got on the plane with the 6 pizzas in your.
Don't
worry, lads. I've got food for us.
Bro, fella, I showed up, fella. Right, listen to this. I go out with the boys. It's got to be a good night party, and it's got to be a going away party. Because as you know, by the way, in this thing in the UK and definitely in Ireland as well, if something's happening, we will turn it into an event. Like, we're going to turn it into a party. Like, a christening in the UK is like the greatest thing in the world. Because there's a 2-year-old getting christening, so all the women are playing with the children, and all the men are in the corner getting hammered. And like, that's what a christening is to us. So anything we can turn into an event, that's what it was. The night before Thailand, go out with the boys, get hammered anyway, blah, blah, blah. I land in Thailand, go to the first bar, have a pint of beer. And it worked out to 80p, which is $1 a beer. Bearing in mind, I'm 23, right? And I was like, do you know, it was genuinely like, oh, how much? Like,
I'm never going back. Thank God I got a one-way ticket.
Mate, I swear to God, the first night, I'm hammered. First night, my wife goes to the welcome meal. Doesn't know me, never met me, never seen me before. She goes, welcome meal. 2 people haven't showed up. One of them didn't get on the plane, so we don't know what's happened to him. And the other guy is so passed out drunk that he's not going to make this meal. And I was the guy who was passed out drunk. I was the guy who never made the meal. Like, so I didn't see anyone until the next day. Well, so everyone's all mingled and made their friends. And I've come down with a hangover from hell. And I'm going, Aye.
Still
Never
eating pizza.
Honestly, I actually share the room with a guy from Belfast, Colin. He's a good friend now. And yeah, bro, it was just like the greatest time of my life, meeting the wife. But she hated me for the 3 weeks we travelled, hated me. Didn't like me at all. Because she said you were always the one that wanted to start at the drinking. Because you just look at the lads and go, come on. Like we're trying to do something.
Less than $1, people.
Bro, it was like she was like, we're trying to do something with monkeys, and you're in the bar opposite with 4 other fellas. Like we're trying to like do the old Thailand. There's the picture with the monkeys and the lions and shit, and you're like, there's a bar there, though.
Where the monkeys serve beer for $1.
But yeah, that's how I met my wife, man. And that's
Ozzy, your friend from Belfast is the second name. So I am. I'm Colin. So I am.
Telling
That's
you
crazy. So okay, so how did you convince her to? I know you didn't stop drinking, so how did you convince her? Did she start drinking? Was that the thing that broke the ice, or what?
Do you know what, mate? Today we spoke. I can't even remember properly. We had an overnight train. We just spoke. We just sat next to each other and spoke, and there was nothing there. We didn't do anything at all in Thailand. There was just no relationship at all. Just someone that I knew, and we just stayed in touch over Facebook. And then that's what I was going to ask Macha before, man. Macha like done a long-term relationship without technology. That must have been a fucking challenging wank.
That's tough.
Jesus. Well, first of all, we had MSN Messenger.
I was going to say, imagine sending
that was just out.
Imagine sending a bit like a piece of post. I can't wait to see your tits like that. Fucking sold out, babe. There you go. 3 weeks later.
I know that wasn't the message on Messenger, by the way. I can't.
Well, it was on dial-up, so it was probably taking 3 weeks to get there anyway. Even on MSN.
Fucking hell, boy! Get off the fucking phone. What fucking the Messenger?
But we also like the great thing about this country, which I found before I moved over, is because like everybody's competing with everybody else to try and get your business. Like you could get like at least those times, landlines would compete with each other to get better deals.
Oh, yeah.
So she had a deal where it cost her like less than a cent to call Ireland.
Oh wow!
But it was costing me like 40 cents a minute to call Ireland. Like so she would call me every night after dinner here. Yeah. So like 7 p.m. Eastern time, so midnight in Ireland. Yeah. I already had insomnia at that point because I was an overnight security guard in college, and then an overnight, Spar, the Spar shops. There's a 24-hour one in Dame Street in Dublin, and I was the manager of it. Well, I was in college, so I had no sleep, like inner body clock at all. So we would just talk every night for 4 years.
So was you one of them? Calling you, missus. Hey, babe, call me back. 40p. Yeah, call me back.
Yeah.
I'll ring it 2 times.
Yeah. No, it wasn't call me back. That cost seconds, Cozzy. It was call back.
Yeah.
Oh, see, we used to do the 2 rings.
It's me.
So that in case not with the wife, but like, in the old days, like you just ring it twice so that, if it's clear, you just call back kind of a thing. But well, that's crazy, man. Like 4 years is really. So how often are you guys traveling? Or like for 4 years, it was only like Messenger, show me your tits.
Probably 4 times a year, like twice each. I come over here twice, and she go over there.
Okay. So there's at least some. Okay, so that's not.
But that's why we got married. I like to tell the story, but and it was. I mean, we're probably going to get married anyway. But I like to say it this way because this was genuinely what I said to her was. Do you know what? We're gonna have to either break up or get married because it's costing me $750 every time I take you to Chili's, and it's not worth that money. Not even for the awesome blossom.
Was that
Mecca given the ultimatum?
Your nickname for her, or is that like?
Say again.
Was the awesome blossom your nickname for her? You know what I'm saying?
That was her nickname for me. We had it like because I wasn't always this big. Well, I wasn't this big when I moved over here. I was one of those high metabolism people. Like I used to cycle 14 miles a day in Ireland to get to and from work.
That's being called young
as well. So I was playing and coaching soccer several times a week because I was doing coaching badges. So I was doing everything. So when I came over here on the trips, like there was a time you went to the Chili's. And the waiters had a bet on for how many awesome blossoms I could order and how many Dr. Peppers I could drink. And I got 15 Dr. Peppers and 3 awesome blossoms, plus the meal that came with it. Because I didn't even think, this is an onion. This cannot be unhealthy. So I was like, yeah, give me more. Get another one in here now.
It's
Bang.
quadruple fried, but
I've got no issue with the awesome blossom. I've got the issue with the 15 Dr. Pepper. That's like Forrest Gump level, isn't it?
Yeah, it was, yeah. Because it was free refills. And we don't have free refills over there. So I was like flummoxed by this idea. I was like, really? For free? Keep them coming.
Yeah. My dad was obsessed with coffee maker, right? Obsessed. We went to a cafe over here, bro, and he couldn't believe it was free refills. Mate, it was fucking wired. Yeah, he had about 6 cups of coffee. He's smoking the car like that.
You know what I hate over here, though, especially like if you go to like a breakfast place, you have like your perfect ratio that you want of sugar and cream, right? And then like when you're talking, you're like, no, come on, man. Like now I gotta add just the right amount of cream and sugar again to bring it back to. But actually, that's an episode by itself, probably how shocking the eating out experience over here is.
Yeah,
compared to like, I mean,
because
back home as in back in Europe.
It's because in Europe and Turkey and Ireland and stuff, they give you the perfect amount of food so you can eat and finish your dinner without taking a box.
Right, here's the thing. This is like I want to get like a Europeans' perspective in this. I grew up fairly poor. Like we were like the working poor, as you would call it. Like my dad had a job, but it wasn't paying for anything. Like we were on council housing estates and everything for living. And we had the thing was you ate all your dinner. We never went out. We didn't even go to McDonald's. I didn't go to McDonald's till I was like 18 or something like that. Or and I didn't know how to actually eat in it because we never ate. We went to the chip shop van down the street. That's how we ate out. But the whole idea of getting a box, like that was like that's telling everybody you're really poor. And that's a pride thing. You don't let everybody know you're poor. You eat everything on that plate. Yeah. So the idea, I was insulting people left, right, and center unintentionally because I was not taking the box home. And then my wife was like, "Look, they give you enough food for 2 dinners." And then they clicked. I was, okay.
Yeah, we would go to places when we lived like paycheck to paycheck when we were first out of college and stuff. Where the only places we would go out to were ones that hooked you up for lunch the next day, one way or the other. Yeah. But that's funny. So, okay, Kazi, were you the same way? So, is this a European mom thing where I blame my mom for getting fatter afterwards? Because regardless of what was served, and she's like, "Oh, great, it's my fault." I'm like, "Yes," because I really feel like this is built in to this day, where you take a plate of food, you finish every freaking thing on it. And we didn't like grow up poor, but we were raised with you value what you're getting kind of a thing. You don't waste anything just because you're not poor kind of a thing. But whatever you had on your plates, even if you were full, you had to finish it or you were not getting up from the table.
Correct. I grew up exactly the same. Yeah, it was like it is the value thing, isn't it? Like we've heard that for this meal kind of thing, and you'll fucking eat it. And you get what you're given. By the way, that's the other thing. You'll get what you're given. You get what's getting cooked. You don't get to pick your meal.
Yes,
exactly. You know what I mean? You might have an opinion at the start of the day of what you fancy, but if you said I want a burger and you come home to spaghetti bolognese, you're fucking having spaghetti bolognese and you'll deal with it. Like that's what it was like. You know what I mean? I'm gonna put like you guys. I know council estates, house to house, and you know what I mean. I think I counted up when I moved into this house. It's like I'm 32 and I've lived in like 25 houses, 24 houses. So I've lived, houses for 6 months and stuff all around the same estate in Liverpool. So yeah, but it was like that very poor background. But I think that's what it is as well. It's like you value what you've got in it. It's weird, isn't it? But like that's what I'm saying when I'm with Maka. Like when I used to go to a restaurant, I'm like, I can't finish all this. But like because it was my head that was programmed, you've got to finish this.
Yeah.
Like you've got to earn your dessert. That was the other one. You have to earn your dessert. Like we have ice cream, but if you don't finish this, you don't get no ice cream.
Nope. Obviously, you were too full, weren't you?
But I'm saving room for ice cream. No. That's not how it works. No, I want you to make you physically sick before you get your ice cream. Yeah. Like, I want you to want to throw up before ice cream becomes
Apart from Joey Chestnut, it's no wonder that the world's best competitive eaters are all European.
Yeah. Honestly, it's mad, isn't it, lad? But that's the difference, isn't it? It's the difference. I come home sometimes, man, and like we go around to our family, and they're giving us like fucking Tupperware in a box. I've got like fucking 25 Tupperwares in the kitchen. And I'm like, I can't buy all this shit. I've got one lid that doesn't match anything. I've got another fucking box that doesn't match a lid. I'm like, what's going on? Where did all this come from? It's because Mar just keeps feeding us, man.
That's
insane.
weird though, like that we all like grew up like that. Yeah, I mean, you didn't get up, and I like even tell Angel has kind of like knocked me out of some of these over time. Like I had a horrible habit of like grabbing stuff and putting salt instantly, like a horrible habit, like without even tasting it. It was like salt
So
put on
right,
there kind of thing. But
yeah.
because I'm lazy and Angie knows me too well, she would not put the salt on the table after a while. So now I have to taste it because I'm too lazy to go get it. So this way I taste it first, and 80% of the time it doesn't really need salt. I was just adding it just out of habit kind of thing. But
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
that getting the food thing, I mean, I realized afterwards, I was like, dude, this is like a really bad, like actually like a bad habit of eating everything. But it was the same way. And we didn't get to pick it either. So there was a bunch of freaking spinach loaded on that thing. You had to freaking sit there and like finish it off, whether you liked it or not. And then you were always given the kids who couldn't get this food story to make you feel bad. Not that it made the spinach taste any better.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then the response to that was, we'll send it over to them then.
Yeah,
Give me an envelope, I'll mail it.
Yeah,
I was more like, how is this helping them at all, though? Like me finishing the spinach over here. They're in the same situation, aren't they?
We're going to mail this dog food you just cooked me over to those kids and see if those kids want to eat it. My mum boiled everything. Everything was just boiled. Like, she'd make a roast dinner.
Yes!
Bro, they just, like, they cooked like she was in World War II still. And, like,
She's Irish, man. She...
Bro, I swear to God, mate, I cook for her now. She goes, oh, that tastes so nice. What's that? I go, Mum, just a bit of salt and pepper on my food. You tell some bland shit when I was growing up. Like broccoli, though, like broccoli was just so soft.
So is this a European thing of boiling everything? Because Angie was like, when my mom came here and cooked, she's like, that's because like I don't like vegetables, I said, and she's like, that's because you guys boil it to death over there.
Bro, it's exactly right, man. My mum goes, you don't even like carrots. I'm like, no, I love carrots now because I can cook them properly. I didn't just go, we'll just turn this boiling water on for 40 minutes and just throw some carrots in and go, there's your fucking dinner.
And half a cup of salt.
Exactly though. But it makes it's mad. Tim, you're right though.
Do you know what's funny though? Do you know what's funny? I don't know whether it's the same in Liverpool, but in Ireland, ribs are boiled. There's none of that sauce.
Oh, are you serious?
You boil the ribs with a lot of salt, and then you have them as sandwiches, like with bread and butter.
I mean, I hate to say it, British.
It's fantastic. Like I haven't eaten meat in 20 odd years, and I would eat meat for that because it is genuinely fantastic.
Okay, I love that this podcast is just going to go in different places. You haven't had meat in 20 years, Mac?
More than 20 years, actually, since it was
what?
19 or something. Yeah.
Wait. I totally lost that part. Because you ate ribs boiled, dude. You've been spoiled for life. Come back. It can be cooked a lot better.
What was the last bit of meat you ate?
Well, I mean, I started eating fish because just to circle back a little bit, I have a chronic hypertension thing, which we didn't discover till 2017 because I had to go into hospital with a blood pressure rate. If it was 227 over 110, and they were like, if it goes a few more points higher, you're out, you're done.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I was gonna say those numbers.
But I was the same. I would get any food and I would take the top off the salt and just dump it on and go, right, that now it's got flavor on it. And I didn't realize how much salt I was eating because I couldn't taste it anymore. That was the thing. And then when I stopped, I had to go on that DASH diet, like for like no salt for months and months. When I put some salt incidentally on, it was like, this is too much now. What was I doing to myself that I couldn't taste? Like 2 spoonfuls of salt on top of like mashed potatoes. Now it's just literally like fingertip. There you go. That's it. Three little things of it is little to me. But yeah, no, when I was 19, I used to eat meat ferociously. Like a steak sandwich for me was two slices of steak with steak in the middle. That would be a steak sandwich for me. Like, but then I start throwing it all up. I just something happened to me. Like, I had ulcers when I was.
You can't eat. Is it like red meat?
Red meat was the one that did it for me. But here's why I don't eat chicken. And you know the really crap fish and chip shops, Cosy, that are just like the rats won't even go in there. They're too
like SFC and stuff.
Yeah. So we got like a chicken bucket from one of those like one time, like the family bucket. And all the innards were hanging out with a thing, and that just turned me. Like that was just no.
And that was the last time you ate chicken.
That was the last time I ate like poultry.
So what can we do then, Mac, to christen this podcast so we can get you a KFC?
No, not KFC. What like if I did do it? Do you know how like Chinese food is different over here?
Yeah,
like over there it's curry sauce. Everything is curry sauce.
Yeah.
chicken curry from Dublin, from the Chinese. Like, there's something about the curry sauce over there. It's just, it's.
So if they're
I'm pretty sure it's drugs. I'm pretty sure that's what they put in it. It's addictive.
Why is Chinese food different over there? Because I've always thought this too. Because it's totally different. I mean,
it's just bland
here. They're like these British people love curry. Just put some curry and they'll eat it.
The most popular dish in the UK is chicken tikka masala.
Chicken tikka masala.
Yeah, the number one eating dish in the UK. That's how much we love it.
But that one is one of the few ones that's the same over here.
Well, if you go to India, the tikka masala is actually blood red. It's red as blood. But the problem is they changed it for the Western eyes because they were like, oh, I'm not eating now. So they added a bit of orange to it and they went, oh, yeah, we'll eat it now. So when you go to a proper Indian in the UK and you get a masala blood red, it's like that's how it's meant to be. Blood red. Yeah. Huh. Yeah. But I mean, honestly, lad, like, Mach, we need to get. So if the Reds win all four, Mach, what can we tempt you to?
Oh, getting a bucket. We're getting a bucket, right? If we do a
quad,
do you know show up with a bucket.
Yeah.
Now, do you know what would like I actually talked to like the program manager at the radio station about this because he's an American. He's a typical like barbecue meat and all that kind of stuff. Like, but he was talking about like a chicken sandwich from some deli that's around Connecticut somewhere. But just normal white bread, butter, sliced chicken, and YR sauce.
What the fuck is YR sauce?
It's Yorkshire relish sauce. The brown sauce.
Like a steak
sauce? Come on, it's the northern like chef sauce that we have in Dublin. Like it's the brown, like
brown sauce.
Thing. Like brown sauce, yeah. HB.
Okay.
Yeah, brown sauce. I have it.
It's like steak sauce, right? Isn't that like A1?
Yeah, a little bit.
It is and it isn't.
Yeah, but I mean, it's the same.
Same idea.
Cousin.
It's like a distant cousin. Yeah. It's like when you get like 23andMe and you find out like you're 12% black, and you're like, well, it's got to be a distant cousin somewhere. That's what the A1 is to HB. Yeah.
I hate both of them, to be honest with you. I wouldn't put anything on either one.
Brown sauce is the best on eggs. It's like
it's fantastic.
Well, I don't like eggs, so there goes that. But I mean, that's the thing. Like, speaking of ribs, like I'm not supposed to. I mean, I'm not religious at all. That's why we have Mecca here to get me in the right brain. But yeah, good luck. Good luck getting me in. But I think that would be your ultimate achievement. You can just retire if you get me religious. But I mean, I'm not supposed to eat pork and stuff. But I mean, there's no way eating bacon can be a sin, right? I mean.
Not taste that good could be a sin.
Actually, that would be a reason for it to be a sin. But yeah, I mean, that's like one of the things that when my mom came here, and she's not, I was never raised religious, but out of the entire family, she's probably the most religious one. Like my dad wasn't, like never went to a mosque or anything like that. But so when she came here, I can't remember what it was. I think it had something with bacon in it. She was like, "Oh, this is so good and stuff." And I was like, "Oh, yeah, that's right. That's bacon." And she was like, "It's really good."
Just don't tell them at home. Hey, I'm on vacation, aren't I?
The camera's off. Yeah, because
the calories don't count on vacation. She goes home and goes, didn't like the food there. Shit.
See, that's where I got fat over here because my brain still thinks I'm on vacation for 18 years.
Yeah, it's exactly what happened to me. Yeah, exactly the same. Like. So does she practice Ramadan and stuff, Tim? Does she do all that?
Not really, man. I mean, no. I mean, we were raised. I mean, I've kind of like raised my girls the same way. Just be good. You don't have to be religious to be good, kind of thing. I'm totally okay with people being religious as long as they don't have to like push it on me or anything. But I mean, I remember like this is one of my dad's. My dad passed away when I was in college and stuff. But we worked actually he worked, I should say, in Saudi Arabia for a while. And so like he was head of a Turkish company over there. It was a construction company, and he was running their like Jeddah branch or whatever. Yeah. So we would go there, visit him in summers and stuff like that. And I remember there was a mosque like literally right behind the house, and that's like living next to a train station, dude. Like the prayers, like the first couple of nights, you're like, holy cow! Like you get up because like it's like loud as hell. After a while, you just like sleep through it. But so they basically, I remember my mom saying, I don't know why he's like harassing the typical wife harassing the husband to do something kind of thing. And he's like, why don't you just take the boys? Because my brother's there too. take the boys to the mosque. Like, you guys never go to the mosque and stuff. I remember, and this is like kind of like how I live my life now. And I remember my dad turned on and said, the mosque is here. I don't have to, like, he just put it to his chest and he said, like, the mosque is here. I don't have to go to the mosque. They don't have to go to the mosque. It's right here. Be good here. You don't have to go anywhere. And then we kept watching soccer. So that was like, yes, this is the lifestyle for me right here.
By the way, I'm banging to your dad taking the Saudi Pro money before it was even a thing. He was he was first in getting that check. What a guy!
Generational wealth.
Yeah, what a guy. I'm game for this now. We're learning so much,
dude. I mean, yeah, I remember, and this is like, like 30 years ago, more than 30 years ago, like 35, 40 almost years ago. Because I went to 4th grade over there for a year in an American school. And everybody's American, really. Like, it's just like an international school. It's like a bunch of Americans and me and a couple of other international people kind of thing. But that's where I actually learned English.
All right.
Because I went there. I went to an American high school in Istanbul. But like 3 months into it, he went over there. So to be with him, we went there. I went to an American school. And I remember, like, when I came to Turkey afterwards, a year later, I took this test, went to the American high school. I mean, it's like one of the best high schools back home now. And I remember, like, on the first day, I said something and everybody freaking turned around like, who the hell is this guy? Because, you know, everybody talks with a Turkish accent and I had zero accent. I talk like actual an American. But then, you know, 3 years later, you're a Turkish guy speaking English all over again because you're not using
Yeah.
I think it's almost like people that can never tell my accent, like where it's from.
Oh, fella, I've had Australian, I've had fucking Ukrainian, Russian, I've had everything. Honestly, every fucking.
But that's because yours is so different and unique. Yeah. They're almost like trying to figure it out.
Bro, first time we ever came to America, took a flight bang, San Francisco, met the wife. We go to a bar in San Fran, and I'm talking to Emily at the bar. She understands me. And this guy comes up to me and goes, "Hey man, I just want to say that you speak really good English." I'm like, "Oh. Do I, pal?" And he's like, yeah. I was like, oh, funny enough, I'm from England. It's like, really? I thought you were from like Russia, like Ukraine, like really strong, thick. And I went, have you ever met anyone from Russia or Ukraine? And he went, no. And I was like, well, you know, it's not like the movies that you watch. You know what I mean?
To be fair, though, Cosy, there are people down south in England who would probably come up to you and say the same thing. Hello, fella. You speak very good English.
Yeah, you very. Oh,
dude, it's very difficult. I'll be honest. Like when I first went to college in London, my best buddy Daniel, shout out to Daniel, by the way. I know he occasionally watches, but he used to like he's from Liverpool. And we used to talk, and that's how we bonded. I was like, oh, Liverpool and stuff like that. But I remember, like, you know, I would go back home for summer and stuff. Every time I went back, I was like, the first week, I was like, dude, slow the hell down because I don't understand the word you're saying. The first week was always like getting used to the accent because it's tricky. It's tricky for Americans, right?
Yeah, of course. And it is something I've thought about as well. Do you know what I mean? When you're doing the podcasts and that. But I also think it's nice for the American audience to actually hear what someone's actually sounds like from Liverpool, just talking normally and that, because it's probably interesting for them because they probably may never have met anyone from like listen to Jamie Carragher maybe and stuff. Do you know what I mean? But that's the kind of closest that they've got. So it is funny, like you know, I had it like 3 months ago with Emily. And we were in I can't remember we were on food or something, and the guy came up to went, "Hey, what language is he speaking?" To my wife. I'm fucking speaking English, lad. And I was like,